Hey everybody, Sean here from Somm Wine Club, and I have got some wine for you. This is the 2019 Tenuta di Arceno Chianti Classico. This is part of the June 2023 Somm Wine Club box, and a fun one to share with everybody. There is a ton of history in Tuscany, in Chianti Classico, and in this particular part of the region. Tenuta di Arceno is an estate near Castelnuovo Berendenga, in an area where they consider it kind of being the heart of the ancient Etruscan civilization. So part of the kind of reference to that historical nature of this place is referenced in the name Tenuta di Arceno. Arceno coming from the root word, the Etruscan word arche, which means point of origin. So Tenuta di Arceno, the house of the point of origin, is like I said, a historical property with roots back to the Deltage family and the Piccolomini family. Hundreds of years of winemaking history in Tuscany, and then a modern twist. So in 1994, Tenuta di Arceno was the first, or one of the first, wineries outside of California that was acquired by the prominent Jackson family of California. Kendall Jackson, the Spire Collection, these wineries in California that are so well known, they have a collection of properties around the world, including Higginbotham and Capensis in South Africa. There is a stable of these incredible historic properties that are under the umbrella of the Jackson family, and Tenuta di Arceno was one of the first. This was in 1994. This was maybe unthinkable even at the time for a California wine family to go to Tuscany and buy a historic piece of property. But they did. Barbara Bank and Jess Jackson went to Tuscany, purchased the Tenuta di Arceno, and for the last 30 years have been working tirelessly to not just preserve the historical importance and nature of the estate, but also to impart their own modern stamp. So when I think about Chianti Classico producers, Tenuta di Arceno definitely falls into the modern camp in terms of style. And what I mean by that, this is 85% Sangiovese, 15% Merlot. The Merlot is going to give roundness and softness, a little bit more fruit and generosity to Chianti, which, depending on the producer, can be quite taut and tense and lean and crunchy and have this like sour marasca cherry kind of note to it, where the addition of the 15% Merlot here and producing in a slightly riper and more fruit forward style, along with aging for 10 months in French oak, gives this wine a character all of its own. Like I said, a little bit more softness, plushness, and generous fruit. That's definitely like the first thing you get on this wine is a lot of fruit. It's a lot of roundness. But let's see. So 2019 vintage. This is the current release that's in market. So it's, like I said, as a couple of years of bottle age after production. So you're getting just a little hint of this kind of dried plum skin character, but I like this kind of twinge of savory, smoky character that you get on the nose as well. There's like roasted coffee and cocoa and mocha, which are all things that I associate with Merlot. So right off the bat, I'm getting Merlot first, and I imagine that palate will be where more of the Sangiovese character makes itself known, with acidity and tannin and structure. But there is a really wonderful kind of balance of earth and fruit on the nose, which Tuscan sunlight, you're getting plenty of ripeness, and it's just keeping that in check and balancing it out with all of the other winemaking and varietal choices. Yeah, almost almost unexpectedly so from the way that the wine smells with that ripeness. The palate is much more tense. It has an energy to it, and that's what I want out of Chianti. That's what I expect out of Chianti. I want that lean and kind of maybe just bridging on austere kind of tanginess to it. And that's, I mean, it would be a stretch to call this austere, but it definitely shows more acidity and more cut on the palate than it does, than you might expect from the way that it smells. This is pretty close to cellar temperature right now. It's probably sitting at about 14 Celsius. So you would expect cooler temperature is going to highlight the acidity and the freshness of the wine. If you were to let this warm up to 16, 17 degrees Celsius, like if you take it outside and you just have it sitting on the picnic table, you're going to see even more of that opulence and generosity and roundness to the fruit. The wine is 14.5% alcohol, but it holds it really well. It can be a challenge when you work with kind of lighter and more elegant red varieties like Sangiovese to contain that alcohol in a balanced package. If this was 100% Sangiovese and it was 14.5% alcohol, unless it was Brunello, I think it would be difficult to make that alcohol integrate into the fruit and the palate and the structure of the wine. But here, I don't have a problem with it because this wine is bolder. It has more concentration and more flavor, and it kind of bridges the gap or kind of moves from medium bodied up to like slightly fuller bodied. I would like put this in kind of medium plus body. And because of that, your food choices are going to be constrained by the intensity of this wine, but also given a little bit of flexibility and leeway by how fresh and vibrant it is. So, but if you want to think like classic Italian, do bistecca fiorentine, do just get like a really great ribeye with wonderful marbling and just a quick sear on the outside, salt and pepper. You don't need a whole whack of extra seasoning and jus and all kinds of things. Just some little bit of thyme and black pepper and just maybe a little bit of garlic and just spoon some butter over the top of the steak as you're like searing it in a pan. Awesome. No complaints from anyone that you're going to feed that to. But you could also do this with like just classic meaty pasta bolognese. You could do this with dishes that are not meat but still have a meaty quality to them. Especially at this time of year when, I don't know about everyone else, but I do a lot of my cooking outdoors. So most things are on the grill. I just put everything on the grill and just kind of see what happens. So like doing portobello mushrooms and asparagus on the grill, especially like right now when it's still kind of spring-ish and then moving into summer vegetables. Grab my CSA, you can do some charred bok choy or something on the grill where you kind of caramelize some of the sugars and give the vegetables that little bit of extra sweetness to kind of play around with the elements of ripeness and fruit in the wine. Lots of fun. It's a Chianti that has, like I said, a character and a personality all of its own. It is very comfortable and happy in expressing itself and the history and the classic nature of this region in a slightly more modern package. And that's exactly what I expect, and that's what I'm happy to share with everybody. The world of wine is diverse, and there is a wine for every palate, every occasion, every person, every style. And this is just one more example of that. So I am, you said, privileged to be able to continue sharing wine with all of you. If you've tried the Tenuta di Arceno Chianti Classico and you like it, or you're just checking out this video to learn a little bit more about the wine before you open it, that's great. Come back, leave a comment, let me know what you thought, and we can talk about other Chianti producers if you want to explore kind of the range and diversity of styles that are available here. So thanks very much. We'll see you guys all next time.